If you play through Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, you'll know that the story is quite a sad one. In fact, I'd even go as far to say that it's the saddest and most tragic Kingdom Hearts title out of the bunch, especially when looking towards its ending. Birth by Sleep is the tale of 3 friends, all in which aspire to be Keyblade Masters and fight for what is right. Specifically looking towards Aqua, she's, in my opinion, more likable than both Ventus and Terra, as I find her story more interesting. Everything that Aqua has done throughout the Kingdom Hearts series has been for the well-being of her friends, and at the end of the day, that's what she fights for. She's been through many of hardships to try achieve her goal, and that's to save her best friends and to once again be reunited with them under the stars. Today we'll be going over the all-applaudable and kind-hearted story of Aqua.
An unbreakable connection.
Aqua's story starts like any other day spent in the land of departure. Every day, Ventus, Terra, and Aqua would train hard under Master Ericus to one day achieve the goal of becoming a Keyblade Master. Time passed and it was finally the day for both Aqua and Terra to perform their Mark of Mastery, an exam used to determine if a Keyblade wielder is ready to become a Master. Both Aqua and Terra finish the exam, however, only Aqua successfully completes it and is awarded with the title of Master, due to Terra not being able to control the darkness that lies within his heart. Later that day, Master Ericus sends Terra on a task to investigate a new enemy known as the Unverse, who pose a threat to that of the Princesses of Heart. This was also a chance for Terra to redeem himself and give a second shot at becoming a Keyblade Master. Ventus too also left the land of departure, however on his own terms, in fear of losing one of his best friends, trailing behind Terra. Aqua was then bestowed the task of immediately bringing Ventus back as well as Terra if his darkness spiraled out of control. Aqua journeys to different worlds in search of Ventus and Terra and eventually finds Ventus up against Maleficent in the Enchanted Dominion. Aqua explains to Ven that she has been ordered to bring Ven home, however Ventus runs off and explains that he needs to find Terra. Eventually, Aqua finds herself in the City of Light, also known as Radiant Garden. She ends up stumbling across a young girl who is being attacked by the Unversed. Aqua knows she's overwhelmed by the enemy, but continues to protect the young girl. Out of nowhere, a mysterious mouse wielding a Keyblade jumps into the fight, and together, Aqua and him defeat the Unversed. This was Aqua's very first time meeting Mickey, who at the time was also training to become a Keyblade Master under Yen Sid. Both Mickey and Aqua sensed that the little girl who they were protecting was someone extraordinary and someone who is filled with the power of light. This little girl is actually Kairi before she made her way to Destiny Islands and met both Sora and Riku. This is actually the very point in time where Kairi accidentally gets the power of the Keyblade transferred to her due to Kairi touching the hilt of Aqua's Keyblade when the two first made contact. Aqua also casts a spell on Kairi so that one day she'll find her way to a person who will protect her no matter what. This is why Kairi found herself at Destiny Islands when Radiant Garden fell into darkness, and of course became friends with Sora and Riku. Aqua eventually reunites with both Terra and Ventus in the reactor sector of Radiant Garden, but they are quickly interrupted by a strong Unversed. Together the 3 friends manage to take down the Unversed and then catch up for a brief moment. Terra quickly figures out that Aqua has been sent to keep an eye on him and return him home if things start getting out of hand. Enraged with anger, Terra storms off and explains he's doing things on his own from here on in, with Ventus chasing after him. Aqua makes her way back to the town square and finds herself in front of Vanitas. He asks her if Ventus can put up a decent fight, as he'll need to be strong enough for the creation of the X-Blade, known as the Keyblade. Vanitas eventually ends up getting into a fight with Aqua, and in the end, Aqua wins. Afterwards, Vanitas simply leaves into a corridor of darkness, saying this:
"Never hurts to have a backup."
What he means by this is if Ventus doesn't become strong enough, then Aqua will be the one used in the creation process of the X-Blade. Aqua continues her adventure throughout many other worlds, trying to keep an eye on things while at the same time helping out those in need. She ends up visiting Neverland and once again comes in contact with Vanitas, seen holding Ventus's wooden Keyblade. Vanitas ends up snapping the training weapon and threatens Aqua that he now has no need for her. The two get into yet another fight and Aqua yet again comes out victorious, however ends up passing out due to exhaustion. She ends up having a flashback of the final night spent with Terra and Ventus, and then awakens to Peter Pan and the crew. However though, Vanitas' body isn't there. Shortly after leaving Neverland, Aqua finds her way to Destiny Islands and comes in contact with the young Sora and Riku. Immediately, Aqua could notice that the power of the Keyblade was already within Riku and questioned if it was Terra who performed the ceremony, which indeed it was. Aqua also mentioned that Riku and Sora reminded her a lot of both Terra and Ventus, and she was initially going to grant Sora the power of the Keyblade. But because she didn't want their friendship to be torn because of the Keyblade, she decided against it. A lot of Aqua's decision making was based around her own current experience with her friends and the Keyblade. It was because of her own experience that she didn't perform the Keyblade ceremony on Sora. After leaving Destiny Islands, Aqua comes across Mickey drifting away in space. She quickly rescues him and he mentions Yensid's name. Aqua then heads to the mysterious tower where Yensid resides. Yensid explains to Aqua that Master Ericus has been struck down by both Master Xehanort and Terra. Filled with disbelief, Aqua demands to know where Terra is to find out the truth. Yensid mentions that his heart is guiding him to the ancient Keyblade graveyard and that Aqua should be on her guard. Without no hesitation, Aqua makes her way to the fated place. Aqua arrives in the barren wasteland and is once again reunited with Terra and Ven. Aqua confronts Terra about how the Master has been struck down, and in response, Terra immediately owns up to being responsible, however realizing that it was one big plan set up by Xehanort. Terra's reason behind striking the Master down was because Ericus needed to eliminate Ventus in order to stop the creation of the X-Blade and to put a halt to Xehanort's plans. Ericus was already one step ahead. Ventus mentions that Xehanort wants both Ven and Vanitas to fight to summon the X-Blade. This is the very moment where the three start to figure out Xehanort's intentions. Both Xehanort and Vanitas show up to put their plans to action, initiating a fight. These are the very last moments that Terra, Ventus, and Aqua spent together. During the fight between Xehanort, Vanitas, and the three friends, Xehanort had frozen Ventus. Rushing to his side, Aqua saves Ven from falling to his death and completely shattering. As Aqua is lying on the ground with Ventus, Braig emerges taunting both Aqua and Ven, mentioning that Terra will indeed succumb to the darkness. This is Xehanort's plan after all. In response, Aqua claims that Terra will prove them wrong, charging towards Braig ready for a fight. Aqua comes out of the fight victorious, however Braig was only sent in to distract Aqua while Xehanort and Vanitas handle Terra up above. Braig then flees and out of nowhere, Vanitas jumps down and performs a quick strike on Aqua, rendering her unconscious. She then wakes up with Mickey by her side and finds Ventus standing still wielding an odd looking Keyblade. Mickey explains to Aqua that isn't Ventus. Vanitas had merged with Ventus's heart, and deep within the heart of Ventus was another fight raging on. Vanitas announces to Aqua the purpose behind the ancient X-Blade and its connection to Kingdom Hearts. He mentions that the key will open a door that will bring through Keyblade warriors from many different worlds to battle for the light of Kingdom Hearts to then start another Keyblade war. Not having any of it, Aqua and Mickey then pursue to fight Vanitas to stop him in his tracks. Aqua and Mickey both get knocked back from the power of Vanitas, with Aqua pressed up against a rock and not much hope left. Aqua then pulls out her Wayfinder and asks both Terra and Ven to lend her their strength. By a miracle, it actually worked. Aqua's Keyblade had become infused with the raw power of Terra and Ventus, and she was full of confidence. Aqua charged towards Vanitas, clashing her Keyblade up against the X-Blade, and with great strength and motivation, she managed to shatter the X-Blade. However, though, it wasn't just Aqua doing all of the work. Rather, the fight within Ventus's own heart against Vanitas also weakened the power of the X-Blade too. Due to the X-Blade being destroyed, it shattered into 13 pieces of darkness and 7 pieces of light. It being destroyed also caused a massive rift explosion. Aqua acted fast and grabbed Ventus's unconscious body before it was too late. Due to the explosion of the X-Blade, it knocked Aqua unconscious, as well as pushing Ven and Aqua into the lanes between. Aqua wakes up within Yensid's chamber, thanks to Mickey discovering Ven and Aqua floating within the lanes between. Yensid explains that Ventus is in a deep sleep due to his heart being damaged. This is the result of the battle he fought against Vanitas. Aqua swears that she will protect and look after Ven for as long as it takes, but in response, Yensid says that protection is not what he needs, rather to keep on believing, and that's what will one day bring him home. Unfortunately, Terra was nowhere to be found, however Aqua believes she knows where to find him. From here, Aqua as well as Ven set off to first of all find Ventus a safe place to rest. As both Ven and Aqua stand on the steps of the tower, Ven summons forth his Keyblade to activate a portal of light. Even though Ventus is unconscious, this shows us that his heart is still alive deep within. The portal of light sent Aqua and Ven to the land of departure, their home. However, the world was looking a little bit worse for wear as it had been partially destroyed by Xehanort. As Aqua makes her way towards the castle, she finds Master Ericus's Keyblade lying on the ground. Picking it up reminded her of the promise she made to her master that she never got to fulfill. Regardless of which, she continued up the steps. As Aqua is making her way inside, she remembers the words that Ericus once spoke to her, and this is if the land of departure were to ever fall into the hands of darkness, then use Ericus's Keyblade to seal the world away. He explains that generations of Keyblade wielders sought to keep the land of departure safe as both light and darkness remain in equal balance in this world. Aqua seals away the land of departure and it transforms into Castle Oblivion. Aqua leaves Ventus within the Chamber of Waking, which is a room hidden deep within Castle Oblivion. Aqua makes her way back to Radiant Garden in search of Terra. She finds him standing in the middle of the town square, however he looks distinctively different, with the amber-colored eyes, silver hair, and pointed ears. These are all key trademarks of Xehanort possession. Aqua tries to speak to Terra, however it doesn't work. Xehanort has well and truly taken over Terra, and his heart has fallen deep into the darkness. Aqua takes on Terranort and manages to get him to a halt. Terra's heart within ends up taking over slight control and tries to take his own body back to use Xehanort's Keyblade to remove his heart. Doing this ended up creating a dark portal that leads directly into the realm of darkness, and causing both Terra and Xehanort to lose control over the body. Terranort ended up falling into the portal, but because Terranort was still technically Terra, Aqua jumps into the portal to try save him. Aqua found herself in Terranort falling into the depths of darkness, but was determined to save Terra. She ended up sacrificing her own Keyblade along with her Keyblade armor in order to return Terranort back to the surface. If we turn the pages forward to a cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, we can see Xemnas saying these words.
It has been far too long, friend.
He's speaking these words towards Aqua's Keyblade and her Keyblade armor. Now, does he mean friend in a sort of frenemy type of context? If we think about it, it was thanks to Aqua that Xemnas came to be. She was the one that saved Terranort from falling into the realm of darkness. And of course, if you guys don't know, Terranort went on to become Apprentice Xehanort. Because of research, Apprentice Xehanort split himself into two, one being Xemnas, his nobody, and the second being Ansem, his heartless. However, though, turning back the pages, Aqua's sacrifice was noble. She did everything in her power to save not only Terra, but Ventus also. However, doing this meant that she would slowly fall into the realm of darkness.
Ven, I'm sorry. I might not make it back as soon as I thought. But I promise I'll be there one day to wake you up.
As Aqua treks through the hallways of the Realm of Darkness, she is suddenly attacked by a few Darkside Heartless. Aqua stands against the Heartless, however ready to lose all hope, but out of nowhere, both Ventus and Terra's Keyblades attack the Darkside and eliminate them. This refilled Aqua's hope to continue through the Dark Realm and to find a way out. As Aqua pressed on, she came across many different challenges before her, mainly the Beasts of Darkness known as the Heartless. After defeating a strong one, in particular known as Red Eyes, she was caught off guard. Before her lay the Castle of Dreams. Aqua questioned why Cinderella's world would be in the Realm of Darkness. Little did she know, many worlds shortly after the events of Birth by Sleep fell into the pits of darkness. Aqua was curious to figure out what had happened to the world, so she decided to investigate. Upon making her way to the castle, the bridge beneath her collapsed, destroying her only way of getting across. She noticed that the clock on top of the castle had advanced forward, meaning that if she somehow turned back the time, then the bridge would rebuild itself. Aqua headed into the ruined town to track down 5 magical gears that would slowly turn back time to fix the bridge. After finding and activating all 5 gears, Aqua made her way to the bridge but was stopped by a powerful swarm of Shadow Heartless that used teamwork to attack. This Heartless was known as a Devil's Wave. Aqua successfully manages to extinguish the darkness before her and continues across the bridge. As she made her way up to the steps of the castle, she came in contact with Terra. She panics that he didn't get out of the realm of darkness and that she didn't save him. However, Aqua quickly figures out that this Terra she is seeing is simply a mirage created by the realm of darkness, forged from Aqua's memories. Aqua presses on and makes her way into another ruined world, this time the Dwarf Woodlands. She finds the casket that Snow White was sleeping in, however she sees Ventus asleep inside. This is once again the realm of darkness playing its tricks. She finds a mirror that ends up transporting her to an unusual area known as the World Within. Aqua believes that going through each of the mirrors might be the solution towards escaping this area. As she journeys through the mirrors, she comes across someone very familiar, herself, however a phantom version, one that is trying to convince her that her heart is just simply not strong enough. Aqua had to fight against the Phantom 3 times in order to escape, but in a way these fights sort of benefited her. Aqua often doubts herself at times throughout the realm of darkness, but facing herself proves to her that her heart really is strong enough. Aqua yet again finds herself in another familiar world that has fallen, this time the Enchanted Dominion. After fighting through an abundance of thorns, dark beings, and Darkside Heartless, Aqua finds herself up against one Darkside in particular who is a lot stronger than the others, surrounded by several other Darksides who are launching dark energy into the sky. Once Aqua takes down the dark being, she is reunited with Terra and Ventus for a brief moment. However, this time, Aqua is actually able to communicate with Terra. In a sense, you could say that this is Terra's spirit, once again forged from Aqua's memories and heart. Terra explains that his heart now has ties to the darkness, and he's no longer himself anymore. Terra continues to say that Xehanort is currently trying to locate Ven. Terra starts to then lose control over himself once again, and Xehanort takes over, but without Aqua actually noticing. Terranort then asks if Ven is in the Chamber of Waking, and in response, Aqua says yes, not knowing that Xehanort had taken over. A strong force of darkness ends up grabbing Aqua and taking her even further into the dark depths of the realm. Aqua starts to lose hope completely as she drifts away into the darkness. However though, Mickey comes to her rescue. Before the two have any time to talk, they are quickly interrupted by yet another Devil's Wave. Once the two defeat the Heartless, they then have a moment to catch up. Mickey mentions that he didn't expect to find Aqua in the Realm of Darkness, and this is because Mickey didn't travel to the Realm of Darkness in search of Aqua, rather he's trying to find the Keyblade of Darkness known as the Kingdom Key D. Mickey also mentions that about 10 years has passed since the incident with Xehanort at the Keyblade Graveyard. This of course takes us to the end events of Kingdom Hearts 1. Mickey told Aqua that the worlds had been getting attacked by the Heartless and had been slowly falling into the darkness. He mentions that if they can lock the door between the realms of both light and dark, then they can protect the worlds. As Mickey and Aqua adventure through the dark caverns, they eventually find themselves in a destroyed Destiny Island. For a brief moment, Mickey tells Aqua that the two boys, who are Sora and Riku, are currently helping him out to seal the door for good. He mentions their names, and of course Aqua instantly recognizes them as she once met them when they were younger on Destiny Islands. Not long after, the duo are attacked by an even more powerful Devil's Wave. Once defeated, Mickey and Aqua head into the heart of Destiny Islands, which is found in the secret place beyond the door. This leads them to where the Kingdom Key D resided. Mickey quickly grabs the newfound Keyblade and doing so reveals the location of the door to darkness. As Mickey, Sora and Riku prepare to close the door, a Devil's Wave starts swarming towards Riku, and Aqua jumps in the way to make sure Riku stays safe and everything goes according to plan. Aqua manages to hold back the swarm for a short amount of time before it ends up breaking out of Aqua's grasp and sweeps her away back to the destroyed Destiny Islands, sealing the door behind her. As Aqua is defeating the final swarm, in her thoughts she's now confident to extinguish whatever darkness is thrown at her. This signifies that she'll wait for as long as she has to and has the strength to fight whatever dark being comes her way. Mickey, Sora and Riku successfully manage to close the door and seal back the darkness, however with one sacrifice, that yet again being Aqua. Sometime after, Aqua made her way to the Dark Margin, a location we've seen before in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days and Kingdom Hearts 2. She meets a man wearing a black coat that goes by the name of Diz, or more specifically, Ansem the Wise. He tells Aqua many stories about a boy who has been saving many worlds from certain defeat, and has managed to arrive with Keyblade in hand to save the day. Eventually, Diz mentions that this boy is Sora, and that he'll be the one to reconnect the pieces.
Sora. Sora.
Sora.
Sora.
Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of another lore segment. I know these videos don't really come out all too often, but honestly the reason behind that is because there is so much detail that I actually have to kind of go over in order to correctly explain each of the characters' stories. However though, they are a lot of fun to do, so in the comment section down below, be sure to recommend to me what character you want next. Also, a like on this video would be super cool as quite a lot of time and effort went into this video. I also have a bunch of other lore videos currently on the channel. I'm going to leave a few annotations on the screen as of right now. I've already done the story of Roxas, Cloud and Sephiroth, we talked about time travel, and a whole other bunch of things, so make sure to go check those out. However guys, without further ado, I've been Cynical, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.